So some definitions to help us when we proceed through this argument. An agent, an entity that acts of its own fruition. It has a mind. And if we ask who, we're talking about an agent. Who did this? And I'm not necessarily talking about this agent. In the cone of silence. But an agent, an entity that acts of its own fruition, that has a mind, answers the question who. An event, an occurrence, it does not have a mind, and it happens to be that all events are caused. They have to have a cause. And they'll answer the question, what? What caused this? And we're not necessarily talking about a grand banquet event either. Could be. What caused this event? Could be an agent that caused that event, right? Several agents. Finally, we're going to discuss causes, the reason an event happens. And a cause can be an agent or an event. So an agent can cause an event, and an event can cause an event. Okay? But all events are caused. You're with it? All right. So here, a drop of water falls on a body of water and it causes ripples, right? So that's the event. The event dropped the water. Now, there could have been an agent there with a pipette and dropped the water onto it. That was the agent caused the water to come out of the pipette, but then gravity and an event caused the drop to come down and strike the surface, right? So you see a couple layers of causation there. So let's work with this just a little bit. Some examples. The apple fell from the tree. Now, would you say who caused that apple to fall from a tree? Maybe. Maybe if it was not ripe and it wasn't in season and you're asking who caused it. But typically you would say what caused it, right? You'd say what caused the apple to fall from the tree. Gravity, right? Is a general force there, and maybe it just got weak, and that was the event that caused it. There's apple orchard. Second example, this room is a mess. Now, I'm sure some of you moms have said it looks like a tornado came through here, but you don't actually think a tornado came through there. So this is not a what. This is not a what. It's a who, right? Who caused this mess? That's dirty. That's dirty.
Is that Chloe's room?
No, it's not. So when the what question fails, we'll turn to who. If we can't answer it by what caused this, if what's not strong enough, then we'll turn to who caused this. And we know a what wouldn't cause a messy room like this. So now we're going to deal with the argument in itself. Just that we're going to step through the argument. This is called the Kalam version of, there's several different varieties of the cosmological argument. We're going to be looking at the Kalam variety because I think it's a little bit simpler. It's not my favorite, but it is a little bit simpler. So let's just step through the argument, and then we'll kind of analyze each of the steps. The physical universe exists. The physical universe exists is the first premise. Now, before we get too much further, let me talk about precision. Philosophers are very precise in their words. If they're going to set up, it may seem redundant because it's common sense, but what they're doing is they're being precise to guard themselves from attacks. Because someone will say, well, no. And then you say, well, you know what I meant. So that's what they're saying. They're saying exactly what they mean. So they're going to start out with the premise that the physical universe does indeed exist. And it may seem a simple premise, but it needs to be there. The history of the universe is a series of events in temporal succession. The history of the universe. So we look back at the universe, It's just like a frame on a movie. We have one frame, one snapshot, one slice of time, one domino sitting there, right? And then another domino is going to cause, that frame in the movie is what causes the next frame in the movie, right? Does that make sense? And then the next frame. So it's just a slice, 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 slice. That's the history of the universe. You know, I can't walk from here to the back of the church unless I progress. You know, each frame of the movie, that's how I get back there. The physical universe has either always existed or it was caused. Those are only possibilities. Either it has always existed or something caused it. If the physical universe has always existed, the history of the universe is a series of infinitely many events in temporal succession. Infinitely many events. So there's no first event. They just keep on going back forever and ever and ever. If the universe has always existed. The history of the universe cannot be a series of infinitely many events arrayed in temporal succession. And we'll talk about why in the argument analysis. But he goes from that proof that either if it always existed, it has to be infinitely many, and then it says it can't be infinitely many. So then the next logical conclusion is the physical universe has not always existed. The physical universe has not always existed. Seven, the physical universe had a beginning. The physical universe had a beginning. If the physical universe had a beginning, then the beginning of the universe had a cause. If the physical universe had a beginning, then the beginning of the universe had a cause. The beginning of the physical universe had a cause. So this is where it kind of seems redundant, but we get these if this, then this. And a previous statement satisfied the if, and so then we get the result, the then. So the then is the beginning of the physical universe had a cause. Everyone up to...
With you, brother.
You with me? All right. Not leaving anyone in the dust. If the beginning of the physical universe had a cause, what can cause something? That cause must either be an event or an agent. Only an event or an agent can cause something, right? The beginning of the physical universe was caused either by an event or an agent. Okay, so this is where it seems like he's saying the same thing, but he's not. Because we have the if statement, then the then again. So then we say, all right, we satisfied the if. Now we can take the then as our next step in the argument. The cause of the beginning of the physical universe could not have been an event. Could not have been an event. So we rule out an event. It must have been an agent. The cause of the beginning of the universe was an agent. The cause of the beginning of the universe was an agent. So that's a cosmological argument. From beginning to end, this is like I said, the Kalam version. And we're going to analyze this argument. But before we do this, we need a little warm-up. So if any of y'all have been in a philosophy class, you've seen this. All men are mortal. Right? Socrates is a man. So what follows? There's Socrates. Socrates is mortal. Okay, so here's where the warm-up is. Got to engage. I'm going to ask you a question. Bruce is mortal. The question is Bruce a man? Not necessarily. Good. So you were engaged. Good. Because, in fact, Bruce is a dog. This is actually a picture of someone who put this is Bruce the dog.